Okay, everybody, hello and welcome to InstaSpeedathon 2022. We're now going to head over to the Ratchet and Clank 2 NG plus no IMG run by Mathias4595. Again, our total at the moment for charity for EveryoneCan has reached £300, which is absolutely incredible. Let's try and get to about £500 by the end of today. If we can get to that, then I think we will definitely be on track then to get to our £750 goal by the end of the marathon. But yeah, please do keep those donations coming in. The Tiltify link, we'll be posting the link periodically in the chat, and also you can click on the EveryoneCan logo down in the panels below, and that will take you to the Tiltify page. Again, there's a selection of polls available that you can donate to. Those runs are happening today. To change the course of someone else's run, just having a bit of fun and also donating to charity, then be sure to do that as well. So, Matthias, oh, there's a lot of background noise.
No, that's fine.
Who's doing that?
Yeah.
Matthias,
Yes.
you have the floor.
All right.
Give me a countdown when you want to start,
Yeah.
and we will begin the timer.
Alright, it's me again from yesterday. So, yeah, some reason I got Ratchet and Clank 2 in here as well as Up for Arsenal, which was yesterday in the marathons.
It's just a high coincidence, that's all. It's fine.
Yes, alright.
Nothing to do with it being my favourite game of all time or anything.
Yeah, so this is... this is NG plus no IMG this time. So the Ouya run was NG plus no QE. This is NG plus no IMG, which is Insomniac Museum glitch. So basically, you can use the shortcuts menu to go straight to the Insomniac Museum, and then you can leave the Insomniac Museum, which takes you straight to Planet Bolden 2/3 of the way through the game. So you're not allowed to do that in this run, so it's a lot more fresher and enjoyable, like no QE is. So commentating, I have Marathon Man and Torpedo, who are both up way too late for this kind of thing. Alright, so...
This is primetime gaming.
Alright, okay. So I'll do sort of similar to what I did in the last marathon. I'll start the timer, I'll load the game, and I'll count down until the timer starts. And we're just about ready to go, I think. Alright.
Yeah, so just give me a countdown when you're ready, and we will begin.
It's when the planet cut-in shows. It should be 4 seconds from there.
Yeah, I've started a split timer, so that's good. 4, 3, 2, 1, go. That was a bit late. That's fine. Alright, so yeah, commentary is going to be delayed a little bit again, like last time, because we have to do it a bit of a janky way, because the RTMP server doesn't like me due to my location, basically.
Yeah. We'll manage. A little bit across the world. But, okay, so similar to how you'd seen yesterday with Up Your Arsenal, going Commando is another game that uses the charge boots as a catalyst for all sorts of different high-speed movement. So, for those who haven't come in yet, the charge boots can be cancelled with certain weapons that will put you into a sliding state, which is called a neutral. As long as you don't move the stick, you will preserve your speed, though it will decay. And what Mathias is trying to do here is use that speed to have a turret push him through the wall.
Yeah, I missed.
Unfortunately, it looks like it didn't work,
yeah.
but it saves a bit of time if you get it first try, because you're skipping that little slide down the elevator up. But it's not something that's like super needed, like make or break the run. And basically, just like a decoy flip or two from there, the decoy is also another thing that can preserve Ratchet's momentum, and that's the end of Aranos.
Yeah. That's our obligatory hallway level.
Alright.
That, funny enough, is actually one of the less involved levels in the run, so that's why I was trying to use it as a chance to like explain like how it goes. Also, the decoy with the weird little slide that you have at the end of it, you can use it to run into a slope and you just shoot straight up it. And you can mid-air jump.
So standard standard Scoozler route, I guess. I'm not. I tried left side and that was way too painful.
Thank you for shopping. shopping at Megacorp. Please visit us again.
Alright, and then Marathon, if you'd want to explain how Whoopash is going to be working.
Oh boy, I would love to. Okay, so Whoopash is the first of 4 ship levels in the run. It's kind of like the tutorial one. And he's going to be immediately looking down at a very specific part. And when he turns around, he's going to shoot a nuke in a very specific spot. And we're going to hopefully get this down to 5 or 4 ships, somewhere around there.
Yeah, 6. Yeah.
That's good enough. That's close enough. And then he's just going to try and kill as many stragglers as he can.
Yeah.
As quickly as he can.
An interesting note about the nuke is how it works is when you fire it, it basically destroys everything in your line of sight, basically anything that's on screen. So how a lot of these are going to be set up is basically trying to have as much of the enemies on screen as you can, so that when you fire the nuke and blow it up, it's going to kill
Ooh, that was... Early mine was a little bit bad, but that's fine.
And what he just did there, there's a brief, like, half-second gap between the cutscene where all the ships come back in, the second wave. And he's able to fire a mine during that, and it'll actually clear out that entire wave while that cutscene is playing. That's called early mine.
Yeah, ship levels are actually really fun in this game because it's like usually everyone's always just like, oh, it's like removed from the action stuff. No, the ship sections in this game are genuinely just as fast, if not more high speed than some
Yeah,
of the
most
other
of them are really short. I think what's funny is that first one is, I believe, the longest one.
Come
yes,
on.
It is.
Come on. Stupid game. Yeah, you can get on the other side of this force field with just the charge alone, but I missed it, and now I am wasting my ever-precious decoys trying to get through this, so I'll death abuse and try again. Honestly, it's just going to be easier.
What Mathias was trying to do before the wall clip is, if you charge, so when you do a charge, specifically in the Black Label version, is this super accessible and like much easier to do. For like a brief moment, you have enough input to put a grounded, you have enough time to put in a grounded wrench swing in midair, which honestly refreshes your jump. And the floor is only solid one way there, so you can either choose to clip through the force field, or
On the bolt.
situate your charge in such a way where you can do a wrench jump and jump up through the floor. Coming up next is the jamming array, and this one's going to be pretty simple charge across the planet. Because it's a circular sphere though, you actually maintain the full charge speed the whole way. It's like a little, that's like more of like a little trivia thing, but yeah, this is just going to be, simply put, charging to 6 big targets and
Oh,
getting them as quick as you can.
Let me set up.
It's a pretty involved planet as well. There is quite a lot of different movement that we're going to see going around with the charge boots.
Haven't failed it for a while that bad either. Oh well.
It's kind of a good display of how the charge boots work and the tech skill that comes with canceling at the right time and moving that into platforming and keeping a flow going. And I guess because it's going to come up at the end of this planet, it'll be seen more throughout, but there's an interesting thing in Ratchet 2 where if you go into first-person mode, double jump, and immediately start mashing square to swing the wrench multiple times, you can literally just climb walls. So he's going to use that here to try and climb the backside of this final transponder. Unfortunately, it looks like it dropped him down there, so he's going to actually use it to try and climb his way back up.
Oh, the stream's behind on my end. That...
For a long time, this was like the bread and butter of the run, but the run has just coalesced so much since then that we've tried to route it out as much as we can, but it's still very useful for parts like this, where otherwise he would have to go around and go through with the more conventional way.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that because it's not liking me today, honestly.
I think today it only in Fear's runs, like Fear's the world record holder in this game. I think he only uses it 3 times. And
Beetle, Aranos 2.
Niblack as well, I think.
Oh, I can't.
I think even Snib doesn't have it.
I'm pretty sure Swing Shot Sword got get it down from the IMG.
Yeah, it did.
Isn't he doing a mid-air? Oh, no, you're right, you're right.
But yeah, where it used to be, almost every planet had some moment where you went into first-person mode. So it's, over the years, it got a lot more streamlined. It's made it a much faster-paced run and therefore more intense, but means that Mathias is going to put on a good show for us.
I hope.
Yeah.
No pressure, by the way.
Yeah, you say that.
A big thing that helped phase that out, we saw it a bit earlier in the run, is a technique called Proxying. So you saw Mathias a few planets ago charge at a giant tree, and he threw a decoy at the very end, and it just warped him straight upwards. That's called a proxy, and that is a much faster and cleaner way of getting height while keeping a lot of that flow going that these games are known for.
Yeah. If there was a word that I could use to describe, like, just about any of the OG trilogy, it's freeform. Like,
Definitely.
you have the means available to you in order to just really do whatever you want.
Alright.
Coming up next is going to be the arena. The Plasma Storm is strong. All you need to do is just aim in something's general direction and it'll shock everything, and it's a really strong weapon because of that. Especially when it one-shots everything here.
Yeah, it's really good for crowd control, which is being a big arena with doors opening. Actually, something we should mention is you can actually manipulate where the spawns in this arena are placed if you, based on what gateways you're looking at.
Yeah, I have not. Alright. And then you saw the wrench jump earlier, but this is a better example of it here, I guess.
Oh yeah, this is like this is what I recommend anyone that's learning this game mess with first, because this shows you just how much you have available to you to actually skip. Because even though you have the electrolyzer, you have to sit there and do like a little 15-20 second thing to test your peripheral vision, and then every single like step of the bridge has to go all the way out at that point before the bridge actually forms. So it's like 30-40 seconds just to do all that. That singular wrench jump there saves all that, and you have to do that twice for the electrolyzer, so you save a lot more just from doing your wrench jumps. Coming up next,
that whole
yeah,
sorry,
go on,
I was just
Sorry
gonna
about
say that whole end sequence is like a minute long with the electrolyzers, but thankfully with being able to whip jump with the wrench, very cool. By the way, it's only a couple seconds.
An interesting thing to note, we have been calling it between wrench jumps and whip jumps. Going Commando and Up Your Arsenal run on similar enough engines that a lot of the tech that you saw yesterday that worked in Up Your Arsenal will work here too. Some debatably more so because of more tools available to us.
So yeah, also, I suppose earlier, like we mentioned the Black Label version, so it's a bit finicky with this game, the good version for speedrunning, because you've got the official first release, which is Black Label, which is everything unpatched, and then they also released the Red Label Greatest Hits version, which patched a lot of the stuff with the speedrun. And then in a moment of sheer pain, you realise that they based the PS3 ports off of Greatest Hits, not Black Label, so you can't do any of the speedrun stuff that you can do here on PS3. So I guess, yeah. So if you want to do the EMG Plus categories, the best version is Black Label PS2, I guess.
Yeah, I forgot about the little jump on the hoverbike race. This right here is pretty much just a straightforward, just 3 laps. You can use this honestly as a chance to like recap anything else when we come up in the run. We were talking about before how the nuke is like a really good weapon for the ship. Coming up next is going to be probably one of the toughest things in the run to hit. The nuke has an interesting property where it doesn't actually register the hit of the nuke immediately once it blows up. There's an exact frame, a second after firing, that you can pause and say if you restart the mission, it'll carry over the explosion of the nuke to the actual next wave and destroy enemies there. This sounds like it'd be something pointless, but we're going to actually be using that because when we restart a ship mission, it's going to give us our nuke back. We can cheese the game in such a way where upon this reset, with we pausing the specific frame of the nuke, it's going to carry over that explosion to the restart of the mission, right? But because we never actually fired the nuke in this new attempt, we still have our own nuke. So we can use it to basically do 2 for the price of 1. All this to explain a 30-second split coming right up.
Yeah.
Now watch is now. How many price of it is how many teams nuke storage is going to take? There have been
I have total faith in you. I'm gonna say 1.
I have been quite bad at nuke storage lately. But I just realized on the first run of PS2 that I did, because I did one run on PS3, I got it first try. And then
and that there, ladies and gentlemen, is called wrench lock on.
Yep.
And then Nick, do you want to tell your story of this?
Oh, the time that I so at the end of the last planet, he actually got coordinates to a planet that we never want to go to ever because it's like a 7-minute with Clank sections and oof. And I may have gone there on accident and then came back to this ship mission and got it first try and saved time. But, yeah, funny story.
I have an uncanny talent with Felton myself, where I've been known to take breaks from going Commando. It was actually the game I ran for 3 years until about August of 2020. I seem to have an insane knack for any specific time that I come back to run Ratchet 2. The very first Felton I will hit first try. I've used it into my advantage to actually be fear in a race. But yeah, that's Felton. Nuke storage is rough. It's 11 minutes in, and it kills a lot of runs. Luckily, the penalty for missing is only about 2-3 seconds, so you can afford to take a few misses of that before it actually ends up being like really detrimental. So on Planet No-Tac here, what's going to happen is Mathias is going to take a specific charge around.
Oh, it's missed
He's
it.
actually trying to avoid a checkpoint, and
Okay, I missed it.
ooh, yeah, you were a little bit closer on that. So the reason why we're trying to avoid a specific checkpoint is it just so happens the route we take avoids every other one on the level here. So if we have no other checkpoints that we've hit and we die, surely it sends us back to the ship.
Come on, why is it? Come on, it doesn't like me right now.
This is the first level that like really tests your proxies because there's one you have to hit a specific early timing on, and then the other you have to have hit a specific aiming for.
Yeah, no-tech is definitely where the game becomes a lot more technical in terms of the movement getting more and more complicated, the sequences of movement being more and more elaborate. So, like we said, no checkpoint. So, if you were to slip off the edge or die or whatever, right back to the ship.
Yeah, I would like to say where the mid-game of New Game Plus No IMG used to be very... Oh, that used to just all be one big wall, one big wall climb. Siberia's used to be you have to kind of do the level almost casually. Over time, the mid-game of No IMG has went from like the break splits to now probably the...
I am not going to have enough decoys to do this now. Let's buy some more. Just to be safe.
Yeah, you might have to buy some more.
I used a lot on Mecta.
Siberius is actually a good example of what I was talking about as far as things being more technical and elaborate. He's actually going to try and clip out of a wall here and go a completely unintended route around the entire map. He's going to try and cycle back around to a boss arena and then ease his way back in. There's a invisible ledge he has to land on. It's pretty precise. And then go and fight the boss.
Keep in mind that while you can see some of this terrain, none of the collisions actually congruent with the terrain. So this learning train skip here is a huge bit of trial and error. Just
I really need
This takes so much practice and just knowing where you can stand, where you can't stand, where slopes are, and just experimenting with it.
That being said, though, this is one of my favorite splits in the run, so...
Come on.
It's a fun level, that's all I gotta say about it.
Doing a run.
But luckily,
Right on run.
while the...
Can you load the dishwasher when you finish?
Yeah, sure.
Luckily, while the terrain itself is actually invisible, you can still see like some features of the terrain and everything, which is pretty cool. So like you can use that as like kind of a tell to see when you get there. Coming up next is Tabora, which my personal favorite level of the run. This is going to be the test of like all your neutral tech that you like that we've talked about. Speed preservation with the boots, all of that.
Yeah.
This is also where we can bring up the shortcuts menu, because we were talking about how the shortcuts menu is used to warp to the Insomniac Museum. At this point in the story, Ratchet and Clank's ship kind of got sat on by Fizzwiz's ship, and it's broken. The alternative to doing this is we have to collect 10 crystals to go talk to a hippie who's just like, oh yeah, by the way, your ship's fixed now, bro. And that's slow. So instead, we're just going to warp out in a ship that, frankly, shouldn't be working, and we're gonna go racing again.
Yeah, we love Barlow so much we just have to keep coming back.
Exactly.
I mean, like, what's not to love on Barlow? We got sand and...
It's like what they say in Star Wars. Now this is pod racing. I've never seen Star Wars, so I don't even know if that's a thing that's been said.
That is a thing that's been said.
Okay, good. But really, we just go to Barlow just because it's the quickest way to get back to the ship. Coming up next is Dabo, and something we haven't really talked about as much is while the decoys are used as like our main clipping option, in first-person mode, you can use the turrets as well for like very smooth clips, and the alternative that you have to do here is exploring the Tabora Desert, getting the glider, and basically going through like 2 or 3 long auto-scrollers here. We're just saying no to all that.
That is that the turret will be nice to me, because it doesn't like me here.
This is honestly probably the hardest clip in the entire run, I would say.
And then that happens to me.
I would say.
I have never had that happen to me before. And I have never had that happen to me until today.
This is also one of the most painful void outs just because of how far below the level the death plane is.
Yeah, this is probably one of the biggest maps in the entire game in terms of just how many different pathways there are. There's a whole other like side to this planet that you can get to explore, and it leads you to like a giant Clank fight, and then you go to another planet that's like also really big, and we're just gonna skip all of that.
Oh, come on, seriously.
Dabo, I've always, in my own runs, I always consider Dabo for me to be the silent killer, just because the turret clip, some parts of this game is what I like to call easy until it's not.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, this is very much a game that demands that you practice and make sure that you're brushed up on everything, because the moment you take anything for granted, it's entirely realistic that a runner has lost a run to every single split in this game, even Rugus coming up.
Master has given Dobbo a sock.
Oh, come on! I clapped through and then it immediately fell to my death.
The doggo is a free elf.
Oh my god, it just took me a moment to realize what was said.
Oh my god.
But, like, the alternative to this is basically just going through everything with the glider, and yeah, no. There was a
Finally.
category that did exist at one point, which was New Game Plus Glitchless, which basically kind of tackled it in a semi-casually, but like fast. And the whole detour to getting the glider and everything was like multiple minutes.
Is that category still a thing?
I think Fear asked to get it removed.
In name only, it's no longer on the boards.
Good.
Well, I learned something today.
I don't even think any of the Ratchet and Clank games have a glitchless category because having a
There's a
glitchless
reason for
category is technically just casual.
This is a discussion that I've actually had with a fair bit of people, like both in and out of speedrunning. It's one of those things where the reason why something like Ratchet speedrunning is so...
Skip.
Oh yeah, also group level coming up. Nuke is broken. We're gonna use it to blow up everything in a wave, or almost everything in a wave. The reason why I think Ratchet speedrunning as a whole is like really interesting is speedrunning as a whole kind of like people like in the sense of it's new ways to play old games. In the sense of Ratchet, it is one of the most extreme examples of a completely different way to play the game. Normal Ratchet's all about like blowing things up, all the combat, over-the-top weapons.
Exploration.
Speedrunning takes all that and you're just like, no, go fast, and whatever means you have available to you, go fast with. So the charge boots are something that honestly go very unused casually. Like, you're gonna use it to maybe like charge away from a little bit of combat if you're starting to get overwhelmed. But something how this game works is the whole bread and butter of this game is charge boot tech. And as you can tell, it plays entirely differently. Which is the appeal for it, which is why like in like a series like this, glitchless doesn't really work in as interesting of a way, which that's not a bad thing. Oh yeah, also, yeah, that was the entirety of the level today.
I was gonna say, we didn't mention anything about this planet.
Tanner's just
yeah.
literally just 3 proxies, basically.
Yeah, you've seen proxies, you've seen mid-air decoy jumps, like, as you get, like, later into the run, you've kind of seen, like, all of the big tech that gets used, and the later parts of the run are just, like, you just see more of those applications in action. Coming up next is Bolden. If you were to do Insomniac Museum Glitch, this is where it dumps you out at, and, yeah, we're already about 2/3 of the way into the run. Something that we actually have to talk about here are something called slope intercept, and you see, when you have like a line, you have 2 points on there, you can calculate the slope between, wrong thing. So when you're a Ratchet going onto a wall, you have the ability to swing your wrench sometimes, and it'll treat it again like a grounded input. And you can do another jump out of that, and I forget what the exact angles are that you can SI off of, but you can do it on where proxies are used from somewhere like 30 to about 85, not 85, 30 to about 75 or 80 degrees. Certain surfaces that you can't proxy up, you can instead tend to wrench SI up, and again, it kind of adds to the whole freeform nature of the game where you can just make the world your oyster. Alright, so something else that we talked about already, but we just kind of glossed over, skipping in Daco meant that we never got Clank. So this here, we're in the Clark section right now, and
This is a paid actor.
yeah, Ratchet kind of got arrested for going too fast, so now we have to break him out of prison. This section does bring up an interesting find that's only been found recently, which the use that it has in runs is still being like toyed with, and some people have implemented it yet, but like not everyone has. Which I understand why. It's notably run killer in and of itself, but the camera in this game is treated like a physical object, and if you have something with enough like momentum, you can use the camera to kind of push you with that momentum through walls, and Clank has the ability to do that with doors, and it's a very new discovery. So even with a game that sees a lot of activity, there's still new things being found, and I think that's always really cool.
Yeah, and finding a skip for this Clank section has honestly been something a lot of runners have been looking for a long time.
Alright, so now we're in the Ratchet section, and, well, I think Ratchet might have just broke out of jail.
Yeah, you got that one card in Monopoly.
Yeah.
To get out of jail free.
Let it
Well,
be known
speeding
if
in
you
is
ever,
completely fine, of course.
let it be known if you ever find yourself in prison, just find enough things to jam you into a wall, and eventually you'll slide through.
Sounds like the ultimate get out of jail thing.
And this is another good example of what Twerp was saying earlier about like just completely reinventing how to play this game. Like, how much does this skip? We skipped this entire Ratchet section. We skipped a second Ratchet section. We skipped the second Clank section. We skipped a levitator puzzle. Like,
We skipped
Just-
like the infiltrator already. Like the thing that we didn't mention about Dabo is we completely cut out a whole other planet.
yeah.
Like this game, it's no exaggeration to say we probably cut it in half. Alright, we're on Gorn, another ship section. As you can tell, the nuke just heavily damages what are supposed to be really big tanky ships, and well,
There they go.
one weapon.
Everyone wave goodbye.
All right. The most probably one of the more infamous planets in the bad sense.
Alright, so we're just gonna get this out of the way right now. Snivelac sucks. We don't have the swing shot to go anywhere. We don't have, I mean, you got the notorious Thug Leader's Gigantomech, like, you know, the biggest HP sponge in literally the entire series. So
This definitely
we don't
gets
have to
my
grab these
trophy
either.
for one of the worst bosses in video game history.
The Snow Beast Award. This is
I
a
don't
Snow
think
Beast
you've
Award.
come across Luna in size matters yet, have you?
Nah, this is worse than Luna.
Luna's
Oh,
just
no, no,
hard,
no.
but this fight.
Thankfully,
Lord.
thankfully we can cheese it.
Okay, so even
It's
if you fall
so
there,
tedious.
and you point's actually very generous, so as long as you're just in the area, the game just throws you a bone. That's one
Yeah.
good thing about Snivelac.
Shout out to 3 no specials, no resets.
Alright,
Like,
so
in fairness, this robot mech is a bad boss battle, but it's piss easy.
It's a 10-minute long turret section casually.
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah,
awful. It's not a good boss battle, but it's easy.
this isn't in the script, what are you doing?
Yeah, this is not the fastest way to kill the boss. I tried poking and I couldn't do it.
Where's the turrets? Where's him firing the shoulder things? Where's him throwing the cars at you?
Want to know what's the craziest part? We were talking about this boss is mean and scary and ugly. He's actually just a sheep. Spoiler.
This is the best thing about the Ratchet and Clank 2 speedrun, I think, is that you could just turn a massive mecha robot into a sheep.
So, this is actually something interesting that we can talk about here. Actually, no, Smolge is coming up, and that's a very...
My favorite planet in the whole run. Alright, get excited.
I agree, it's one of them, too.
You said to Boy earlier, and I'm like, is that my favorite? It's probably my second favorite, but Smolg just has so much cool movement.
So something that we haven't really discussed is the decoy glove, throwing the decoy. You've probably seen Mathias do it once or twice, especially on Tadano. It snaps you into the direction that you, like when you throw it, it snaps you into the direction that you're holding on the stick. Conveniently, this just so happens to
That's a bad one. That's a bad launch. That's a very bad launch. You got the concept, but bad angle. And that is
Well,
the wrong.
yeah.
That is the wrong way.
You can kind of stack a lot of these things together to kind of manipulate where Ratchet goes in the entire level. Over here in the warehouse, there's actually a separate strat that you can do as well that used to be the optimal strat.
Petra bomb launch, yes.
You can,
Sorry, my archaeologist coming out.
There's just really a lot. Yeah, there's just really a lot of ways that you can manipulate things in this game to your advantage.
If my memory serves correctly, I don't think there's actually an enemy in this game, apart from obviously those that you do on the ship battles, that you can't turn into a sheep. I'm pretty sure you can turn everything into a sheep in this game.
Just about, I think.
I think
Some are a
so.
little bit harder than others.
That's better.
This is a good chance actually to kind of talk about that because we're going to be basically using neutral tech to clear a lot of boxes and stuff. So it's some stuff that you've seen already, but this is something I was wanting to bring up about the Sniblack Bug Leader. Is technically pretty much anything in this game can be turned into a sheep. The issue is getting them stuck in such a way where you can do it. In the case of the Thug Leader, usually turning an enemy into the sheep kind of just completely ends the fight. The Thug Leader gets put in a state where the next hit kills him. Kind of like how with the sheep, if you hit it, it just blows up. It's not used in this category simply because we have faster methods of doing this, but
Oh, why not?
in any percent in all platinum bolts, you actually use that on the final boss.
Yeah, that's good.
It's one of the methods that you can do to beat it. Where, oh yeah, by the way, Smolg Rail. Yeah, we're quite literally walking a tightrope. It's very much one of the hardest things in this game, though, because like the walk itself is fine. It's just it's kind of like how when you walk a tightrope, it seems like decent enough, and then running on the tightrope is quite literally like unfeasible. We kind of have to do that for the sake of the run. Good backtrack though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The run that you had
Nice
earlier.
decoy.
Yo, the floating decoy. The run
was
that
for
you were
the
showing
fans.
me and Nick earlier actually had a turret on the ship as well.
Oh, that's right.
Alright, so coming up next is Planet Graven. This is probably the shortest non-ship level in the run.
Oh, I messed it up.
I think so. Maybe.
Unless
Just wants to be short,
you can do A1 faster than you can do. Yeah.
It's definitely one of them.
Oh yeah, something else we didn't talk about. There's slope intercepts, but there's also slope abuses. Certain slopes will kind of just like boost up your jump a little bit, and that's what makes that decoy flip up there possible.
Yeah, this might be one of the shortest, and I'm not sure how easy it is, but this probably is one of the shortest in the run, but it's one of the most annoying casually.
Yeah. You have to like...
Oh yeah.
What is it? You have to... I mean, you have to come here at least twice because you have to get one of the hypnomatic parts. Then you gotta go to Damosel to get it all fixed, and then you gotta come back here with the hypnomatic.
Yeah, and you've got to collect all those crystals as well, so you collect the crystals, you get something, can't remember exactly. Oh yeah, you collect the crystals, you move a rock, and then you go underground, you collect more crystals, you get the hypnomatic part, or it might be the other way around. And then you have to come back and do the hypnomatic section, and then you get the final level.
Yeah. And then
Which is
even here, hypnomatic who?
No, you're kidding me.
By the way, this is the last planet in the run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Needle.
So,
Come on, stop
and
popping
as
my
we were
turrets.
alluding to, the skip he's about to do this clip right here is actually going to skip an entire hypnomatic section and a bunch of combat and not slow. We don't like it.
An interesting thing to note about Ratchet Clank speedrunning in general is like, this is one of the those runs, like, I know it seems like we've been all over the place with commentary. This is quite literally one of those runs where even if people constantly talking about commentary for the sake of the run, does not do the justice of explaining what all you do in this run.
Yeah. Like, world record for this category is just over 22 minutes, and that is just
Alright, we're coming up on time. We're coming up on time.
to explain everything.
Coming up on time.
If anything, one of the easiest parts of this run is the final boss.
And, time.
Good spawn, too.
There's the boss. The boss is dead.
You know, Rhino go burr, and 99 other facts about Ratchet and Clank going Commando speedruns.
It's okay.
Yep, there we go.
Real Mr. Fizzwidget. Quark had him tied up in his
3707.
Honestly, that's pretty good.
Yep, that's not too bad.
It was nothing, sir.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry we couldn't get
Oh yeah, I would mention the existence of long loads, but there's not much point for a marathon run, I guess. But yeah.
right.
Oh well.
Looking
What
at
is
that,
wrong with it?
I don't know. It could take months of research.
Matthias'
and
PB is 3443, so for a marathon setting, that's actually pretty solid.
Yeah,
And that's
Yeah.
really with, that was really with Dabo giving you such a hard time as well.
Yeah,
Yep.
that clip was brutal.
Just have to amplify the device with
All right.
TV transponders, and that should cure the other protopaths.
Yeah, really good run. Very, very good run, actually, I would have to say. Well below estimate, which I don't think we've actually seen all marathons so far until now.
Promise.
Yep.
But yeah, very, very good run. It's a very entertaining run, actually. I actually tried at one point to do Ratchet and Clank to any percent. And then I think I got stuck on like Aranos 2 because I couldn't do the decoy glove thingy on like the second, on the first, is it the first or the second Ratchet section? I can't remember.
It's technically it's trying to get around the second Ratchet section by doing Ratchet 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So
Alright.
that's something that we didn't even talk about. It's like the old way we used to do Aranos 2 was we used to actually kind of circumvent, like we would go through the Ratchet section avoiding the Clank trigger just because we had the wall jump or the wall climb available to us. That clip into scaling the wall of the ship is actually a new-ish addition. It's one of the newer discoveries in the game, but it has been around for a little bit now.
And thank God I don't need to win Clank Proxy at any point anymore.
Oh my lord, yeah.
Oh boy.
It used to be Beer would get that, what, 1 in 3 on a good day?
1 in 3 is being extremely polite. It felt more like 1 in 19. It'd be one run out of the Clank section in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, alright. So, thanks for this. I guess I know what games I need to submit to this marathon now. So I need to get it. I need to get a deadlocked run in here. It's kind of customary by this point.
In fairness, I don't
and
think
then a
we've
year
actually
out.
had a Ratchet Gladiator / Deadlock run in InstaSpeedathon before, so you never know. We'll see how it goes. We can't make any promises, of course. There's no coincidence that happens when we pick the schedule or we pick the runs, of course. I don't let any personal bias get in the way.
Sure you do. No, sure you don't. Alright.
You set it to the scene where Steve kind of gets grabbed.
Oh wait, I need to just get this. Hang on. What's the? Here we go. This
Oh,
one.
I love this bit. Yeah, the one part of the cutscene. Who knows why it got into a 3+ game? No one knows.
Oh,
The funny thing is, in the States, this is rated E10.
What?
In the UK, it's rated 3+.
This is rated T in the States.
I mean, yeah, because that was before the E10 rating existed.
Yeah. The collection was E10.
And then
Mild violence.
and then, like actually in the Ouya run, like Duke asked me, can you watch until the end where Scrunch tries to kiss Clank because he loves that one.
Do not even think about it.
Yeah. Alright, I got some stuff to sort out now, so... Oh,
Alright.
yeah. Thanks for commentating, guys. Go to bed!
I just woke up, thank you very much.
Nick, it's what? Almost 5 a.m? You need sleep, man.
4:45 a.m.
You need sleep.
But the sun's not up yet.
When the sun's not up, that means you shouldn't be up. So you just.
Alright. Yes,
And
okay.
when you wake up, be sure to tune back into InstaSpeedathon because we need those donations and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Alright. So I'm gonna get handed off to the next runner now. So thanks again for having me both times. I'll see what I can submit for the next one we next on if I have some availabilities.
Thank you for having all of us.
No worries
Yeah,
at
thank
all.
you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. We'll see you later.
Thank you very much. Bye now.